Alright, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Dragon!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Anthony Black coming through with a membership. Anthony, thank you so much, my dude. I rate that. No way! Thursday kind of Reggie Rock! Oh my lord! No way! No way! No way! No way! No way! No way! No way!
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I have a question for you. Does anyone know who the first person to record themselves playing a video game was? No, seriously. Isn't it crazy how we don't know the inventor of something that so many people around the world do daily? Well, the answer to that is a little complicated. Let me explain. Part 1. Why I love video games. A lot of things from your childhood you end up growing out of or losing interest in, like sports, playing the piano, or the bongos. I actually still like the bongos. It's still my favorite instrument. Like most kids, my earliest memory of playing video games was grabbing an older family's controller and just started button mashing. There was just one tiny problem. I was a kid with no money, and I knew that there was no way my parents were gonna buy me a new console since we just got a new family computer that was running Windows XP. Y'all remember Windows XP? The whole glass, liquid glass setup? So my only option at the time was to go to my cousin's house every time I wanted to play video games. The only problem was that I sucked at almost every single game he had. Street Fighter, Tekken, Saints Row, God of War. The only game I was actually good at was Tetris. The only way I could improve at these games is if I played them more. But if I died in the game, which was a lot, it would be my cousin's turn to play the game, and by that time it was already time for me to go home. So I was stuck in a paradox. How do I get better at something if I can't practice it on my own? And then I remembered that I have a brand new computer and unfettered internet access. Maybe I could play those games on there. I could, but it costs money to download, and 8-year-old me also didn't want to give my family computer a virus from downloading illegal games. So back to the drawing board I went. And then one day, I just searched up Saints Row on YouTube, and my mind was blown. There were people who uploaded themselves playing Saints Row, and they were telling you how to get better at the game. I watched as many videos as I could, and the next time I went to my cousin's house, he did not touch the controller once because I did not die the entire time I was there. He was annoyed at first because he wanted to turn, but then he became impressed because I was doing things in the game he didn't even know were possible. That was my first introduction to the Let's Play. And ever since then, me and my cousin have watched hours of YouTube videos of other people playing video games. Sometimes we already beat these games, but we were interested in how other people were playing the games that we enjoyed. Little did I know at the time that this genre would be the #1 highest performing type of content on this platform, and soon would compete with this genre for audiences. Part 2. A brief history of video games. Like most pieces of technology and entertainment, video games were first used by the United States military. It's crazy how now video games are being used to recruit people into the military. It seems like this invention has finally come full circle, but I digress. During the Cold War, the military was using computers to determine things like missile trajectories, cryptography, and advanced calculations that would land us on the moon one day. Many of these scientists and engineers would tinker with these simulations and share what they were doing with their peers. This would all eventually lead to the creation of Tennis for Two in 1958, which was created by a physicist named William Higginbotham at the Brookhaven National Lab to showcase the potential of computers beyond raw calculation. It was designed to make lab tours more interactive, proving computers could be fun. Now, it's disputed by many historians if Tennis for Two was truly the first video game. 10 years before Higginbotham's Tennis for Two, Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and a stellar man patented another video game-like device, the Nimrod computer, was invented by Ferranti International and first displayed at the Festival of Britain's Exhibition of Science in 1951. Although the computer was built to play the century-old game of logic and strategy called NIM, the electric version of the game was specifically designed to demonstrate the processing power of the new computing device. This was in contrast with Tennis for Two, which was designed to be played for fun. So technically, you could say Higginbotham created the first fun video game. But in 1967, a man named Ralph Baer and his colleagues at Sanders Associates Incorporated developed a prototype for the first multiplayer, multi-program video game system. Since Sanders hoped to license his technology for a commercial venture, Baer understood that video games had to be fun or investors and consumers would not be invested. Part 2.5, I guess? A biography of one Ralph H. Baer. Ralph was born in Germany. He had immigrated to the United States in 1938 when he was still a child. He worked for a few years as a radio technician, served in the US Armed Forces during World War II, and after earning a degree in television engineering, worked in that area. Originally, his invention called TV Game Unit 7, much like the pump unit before it, became far better known by its nickname, the brown box. The name comes from the brown wood grain self-adhesive vinyl used to make the prototype look more attractive to potential investors. The brown box, though only a prototype, had basic features that most video consoles still have today. 2 controls and a multi-game program system. The brown box could be programmed to play a variety of games by flipping the switches along the front of the unit. Program cards were used to show which switches needed to be set for specific games. Brown box games included ping pong, checkers, 4 different sports games, target shooting with the use of a light gun, and a golf putting game, which required the use of a special attachment. The brown box would be licensed to Magnavox, which released the system as the Magnavox Odyssey in 1972. With approximately 350,000 units sold, Magnavox Odyssey was not considered a commercial success. Among the contributing factors, poor marketing played a large role. Many potential customers were under the impression, sometimes encouraged by Magnavox salesmen, that the Odyssey would only work on Magnavox television sets. Despite these setbacks, Magnavox Odyssey made its mark by starting the video game console industry. But that wasn't the only impact the Odyssey would make. Despite the console itself not being that popular, there was a game that did catch people's attention. The ping pong styled game that was built into the system was very popular amongst consumers, which is why Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell would take this idea for a ping pong styled game and create one of the most popular video games of all time. Pong. Bushnell tasked engineer Alan Alcorn to create a simple arcade game as a training exercise. Alcorn improved on the Odyssey's concept by adding sound, scoring, and smoother physics. Atari's Pong arcade cabinet debuted in November 1972, just 2 months after the Odyssey. Pong became a massive hit. It would have a wide-reaching impact in American pop culture, but it was way too like Baer's ping pong game, leading to lawsuits from Magnavox, which held Baer's patents. Atari would eventually settle with Magnavox and become a licensee, but the damage was already done. For many years, Ralph Baer's contributions would often be forgotten, which is a shame because without his contribution, none of this is possible. But despite that, the commercial success and popularity of Pong would start a video game revolution. In 1978, Space Invaders by
Tomohiro Nishikado.
I wasn't gonna get canceled over that one. It was the first game with persistent high scores, creating competition. It also used monochrome graphics with colored cellophane overlays. It would also cause a coin shortage in Japan due to its popularity. And then in 1980, Namco would come out with Pac-Man. It was the first game with character-driven branding. Pac-Man merch, TV shows, you name it. Anything that Namco could put their hands on, they would put Pac-Man on it. It would cross over to mainstream pop culture, appealing to women and non-gamers, which was rare at the time. Following the success of Pac-Man, a new small Japanese company named Nintendo would throw their hat into the ring and come out with Donkey Kong by Shigeru Miyamoto. This game would be the birth of the platformer and the introduction to the most recognizable video game character ever, Mario Jumpman Mario. And in 1992, Midway would come out with Mortal Kombat. It was the first game with realistic, digitized actors and gory fatalities, which would directly lead to the ESRB rating system in 1994. Its uncensored blood on the Sega Genesis via cheat code helped outsell the NES version. You could technically say this is the first console exclusive feature a video game has ever had. This boom in the video game market would lead to the first console wars and would cause companies to think outside the boxes that they were creating for themselves and come up with new and creative ideas. They would also have to deal with the upcoming PC gaming market. In the mid-90s, personal computers became popular and affordable enough for people to buy games such as Doom, Warcraft, Half-Life, and Diablo. Couple that with online multiplayer and competitive gameplay, consoles would have some real competition on their hands in the upcoming years. But let's fast forward a little bit to the year 2000, back when eggs didn't cost you 2 kidneys and you didn't have to swear a blood oath to Jeff Bezos. Like with any hobby, people would naturally want to seek out people who also enjoy the same hobby. And with the turn of the century, if you wanted to find like-minded people who share the same interests as you, there's only one place you go: the internet. Gaming would not be as nearly as possible if it wasn't for things like online multiplayer, game chat, and digital downloads. The only thing close to having the same impact the internet has had on gaming is probably the Let's Play. But what exactly is a Let's Play? The reason why all of you are here. The history of the Let's Play. I know, it's very ironic to ask this question so deep into this video, since that's the question this video was made to answer. But seriously, what exactly is a Let's Play? Is a basketball game a Let's Play? Does playing Candyland count as a Let's Play? Is something like the WWE just Let's Play in disguise? How I would personally define a Let's Play as a video or series where someone plays a game while providing commentary, reactions, or entertainment. I feel like a good Let's Play should focus on entertainment, personality, and reactions. There's many different types of Let's Plays like walkthroughs. A walkthrough focuses on guiding viewers through the game, often with tips and strategies. I think speedruns and trying to 100% a game challenges also count as their own unique kinds of Let's Plays, but they still fit under that general umbrella of a Let's Play. Why do people watch other people play video games? You probably heard something like this before. Wouldn't you rather play this game yourself instead of watching someone else play it? And then you have to remind them that they watch other people play games all the time, instead of playing the games themselves that they're watching. And it's all for the same reason. People enjoy watching more skilled people do things that they do all the time. A lot of the time, people who are less skilled will watch to improve their skills, or just watch to hate and criticize. People also fall in love with the personalities of the people they watch. Having a favorite player creates a relationship between you and your appreciation of the game. Viewers also feel like they're playing with a friend, and considering that gaming promotes creating new connections with people, for people who are lonely or introverted, this is their best way of connecting to another human being. And let's be real for a second, gaming is a ridiculously expensive hobby. And I'm not just saying that because video games are going to be $80 now. Damn, $80? $80 for a racing game? These are supposed to be the cheapest type of games. They want me to slave away at my minimum wage job for 11 hours just for some Mario Kart? But video games have always been expensive. In the early days of gaming, people would play on arcade machines and you would usually just need to put in a quarter to play. Arcade owners would rent machines from warehouse owners with the revenue split between the owner and the arcade. Game developers would make their cut from selling arcade machines, licensing their games to publishers who would then manufacture and distribute the arcade machines, sometimes with the developer receiving royalties based on the sales after an advance was earned out. When the main way to play video games switched over from arcade machines to home consoles, video game developers and studios had to tweak their business model a little bit. We all know by now that when a company sells a console, they're selling it to you at a loss. They make the majority of their money on the back end, selling the games on the console, publishing splits, and distribution rights. Thus, the games have always been expensive to justify the loss they took on the console. Super Mario 64 was $60 in 1996. Adjusted for inflation, that is $123. God damn, $123 for some Mario Kart? Oh my god. We are already sweating and waiting to see how much GTA 6 is gonna cost. If the new standard for video games is $100, I swear, I think I might just have to sail the high seas, if you catch my drift. Most video game studios' target demographic are people between the ages of 16 and 25. And what do these people have in common besides a crippling vaping addiction? They're all broke, statistically speaking. I know, some of y'all got a Bugatti at 15. I'm sorry that I'm a peasant compared to you. FD Signifier has a great video you should check out where he talks about black people's relationship to fighting games. In the video, he says when he was growing up, people had to choose wisely which games they were going to play because, again, video games are fucking expensive. Before free-to-play games, PlayStation Plus's game catalog, and Xbox Game Pass, If you wanted to play a wide variety of games, you had to have a comprehensive community of gamers. Or if you have a cousin who also plays video games, but what if you don't? Remember, gaming has probably only been really mainstream for 15 years now. If you were a loner or an introvert, or didn't live around anyone who liked video games, gaming was not that accessible if you didn't know other gamers in real life. So we have a large community of people with a hobby, but it's an expensive hobby, so a lot of people might miss out on everything the hobby has to offer. Remember how I said the internet is probably the most impactful thing that has ever happened in gaming? The reason why is because of online forums like Reddit and video sharing sites like YouTube.
To watchers of this video, Smiling Observer is calling upon you to like, comment, and subscribe, please. It's free, and he has to get out of the trenches soon, so what are you waiting for? Subscribe already.
Recording gameplay isn't really anything new. In the 80s, when gamers were desperate for help, they turned to VHS tapes. Nintendo Power famously mailed out strategy videos showing how to beat tough NES games like Castlevania 2, while hardcore fans recorded their own playthroughs on camcorders. These physical tapes would represent gaming's first steps towards shared experiences. By the 90s, technology advanced to CD-ROMs where official guides like Brandy's Games included narrated video segments. Everything changed when the internet reached critical mass in the early 2000s. This pattern of people recording themselves playing video games would eventually lead to someone recording themselves and putting it onto the internet. But who would be the pioneer of this concept? Enter a one Mr. Michael Slow Beef Sawyer. Unless you're over the age of 30 or you've been chronically online since you were 5, like me, you probably have no idea who Slow Beef is. Slow Beef is one of the founding fathers of the modern internet. Before the iShowSpeeds, the Kai Cenats, the Lugwids, the XQCs, we had Slow Beef. What Slow Beef was doing back then really isn't so different from what creators do today, like react content, commentary videos, and he is also credited with creating the term Let's Play. But before these degenerate platforms we post and consume slop on, people had something way worse, the Something Awful forum. This is where Slow Beef would begin to gain notoriety. Slow Beef would eventually post a thread on there saying, "Let's play Doom." He narrated his playthrough of Doom like a war correspondent. Brutally funny, self-deprecating, and people on the forum would comment on his tactics, mocking his deaths, demanding he replay levels. It was like interactive live theater back then. He was building a community by writing down how he was playing a video game. Something like this was unheard of. Pretty soon other people would post their own Let's Plays on the Something Awful forum. He was joined by people like Diabetes and Proteus, and together they would collaborate and make Let's Plays with each other. And with the advent of screen recording software like Cam Studio and Bandicam, which made it possible to share their Let's Plays on a new video sharing platform called YouTube, he would upload his first Let's Play of The Immortal, which according to many video game historians is often considered the first video game Let's Play. During his first Let's Play, he basically lays down the foundation of what a Let's Play is.
If you're seeing a DVD, you know how they do like director's commentary and stuff? Well, imagine if some jackass who was not involved in the creation of the movie at all decided to just comment on what he thought watching the movie would be like. Well, that's kind of what we are here now.
Other people would see his success and also give it a shot. You see, YouTube made it very easy for people to upload and share gaming content. And because of the way the algorithm was structured at the time, gaming videos, specifically the Let's Plays, gained huge popularity. And I can't mention Slow Beef without also mentioning his contemporaries. In 2007, a teenager who went by Chugga Conroy recorded his entire playthrough of Super Mario Sunshine. Around the same time, Nintendo Capri Sun brought deadpan humor to RPGs like Earthbound. These early YouTube pioneers transformed the Let's Play from a utility into an art form. People like Slow Beef, Chugga Conroy, and Nintendo Capri Sun would be some of the first really popular gaming channels on early YouTube. And in their footsteps, there would be a whole new wave of content creators that would make the medium truly mainstream. Creators like PewDiePie, Markiplier, iHasCupquake, and the Rad Brad. These channels have nearly 60 billion views combined. This type of attention did not go unnoticed. Big sponsors, brands, and mainstream TV outlets were talking about these people who were making a living by having people watch them play video games. I don't think a lot of people realize or give credit to PewDiePie for the way people create a fan base online in general. Top reactions, clip farming, and the community memes all originate from his style of content creation. Now, I'm not saying Felix invented all of these things, because he didn't. People have been doing that for years before him, but he created a blueprint that many would try to follow, which is the reason why his channel grew so much. And not to mention his daily uploads, high energy style, and high retention made him algorithm proof. The YouTube algorithm would slowly shift towards watch time in 2012, over a view-based algorithm, and would favor his bingeable content. It was the combination of all these things which led to the reason why he was the most subscribed YouTuber for several years. This man was not only the face of the Let's Play for so many years, but the face of YouTube. But you guys know how the story goes. Controversy after controversy would eventually lead to his downfall. Controversies aside, without Felix, who knows how popular the Let's Play on YouTube would even be? It's because of him a lot of people would catch on to this new YouTube meta. They wouldn't be the only ones to catch on. Many YouTubers who didn't have gaming specific content would also catch on. They would create second channels that revolve around them playing popular video games. This became a very common thing on YouTube in the 2010s. Berleezy is one creator that comes to mind, considering gaming content has been his main thing for nearly a decade now, but he originally started out roasting cartoon characters. There's a whole generation now who have no idea about those old exposed videos he used to make. Damn, I feel like I'm getting old. But this wouldn't be the medium's final form. Live streaming would add a whole new dimension to Let's Plays, allowing real-time interaction. Like its roots from the Something Awful forum, streaming gave people a kick by being able to interact with someone playing video games. Live streaming would change the relationship between a creator and their audience. Since people did not have to pre-record themselves playing a video game, there was a level of authenticity people got knowing that a creator's reaction was raw and real. And with streaming, people would sometimes have direct input into what someone was doing in a game. With the parasocial god known as chat, live streaming became the go-to for people who wanted to start a gaming channel. Let's Plays would dominate live streaming sites like Twitch and YouTube for a decade. Before just chatting and IRL streams took over, Let's Plays would be front and center on every single video sharing site. And live streams would show how big the gaming community really is. Twitch Plays Pokemon is probably the biggest example of this. Twitch Plays Pokemon was essentially a live stream of the original Pokemon games, where viewers in the chat would type commands and the player character would execute them. Yes, this was as crazy as it seemed, but at its core, it was a communal event that people all over gaming took part in. Twitch Plays Pokemon's peak viewership reached 121,000 concurrent viewers and was 20% of all Twitch viewers at some points. When the 2020 lockdowns trapped millions at home, Let's Plays exploded from entertainment to essential escapism. When theaters closed and sports canceled, viewers craving connection turned to gaming content, not just to watch games, but to express shared reactions to a world suddenly put on pause. YouTube reported a 75% spike in gaming viewerships in 2020, while Twitch hours doubled. This was due in part to megastars like Ninja, who had dominated pre-pandemic Twitch with his Fortnite streams. Even though he's no longer the most popular person on Twitch, by 2020 his move to YouTube and return to Twitch mirrored the industry's lockdown shifts. But it would be people like Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed that would dominate the Let's Play for the next 4 years. Even though both of them aren't really famous for playing video games, well, to the general public at least, they are the biggest English-speaking Let's Players in the world. Let's Players? People who Let's Play. Let's Play. Is that a thing? People who Let's Play. Whatever. They are the biggest gamers in the world, partly due to the fact that they are the biggest streamers in the world, which is why I personally don't understand why people say the Let's Play is dead. Nowadays, people are providing more than just funny commentary videos while playing a video. They turn it into a whole production. Look at the way people dress up and decorate their whole rooms based off the game they're playing now. I don't believe the Let's Play could ever die just because we will always find new and interesting people to watch. It is true that people who used to dominate this niche are not as popular as they used to be, but that doesn't mean the whole niche is doomed. This goes to show you the cultural impact that Let's Plays really had. Let's Plays became a way for gamers to share experiences and build communities. Look at a game like Minecraft. People have servers where they recreate the entire world, or how people tuned in to watch Kai Cenat play Elden Ring day after day because he couldn't beat the final boss. People are more interested in gaming and gaming culture more than ever because of the Let's Play. Its impact reaches far and wide. marketing for games now relies on having people play them on camera to draw attention and build up hype, or how some of the biggest media giants come to gamers over well-known celebrities to promote their products. And probably the biggest one there is out there, how many creators have turned Let's Plays into full-time careers. A new job was created for thousands of people out there out of a pure passion to share a hobby with other people. All in all, the Let's Play would answer two problems gamers had. How can I experience so many video games without breaking the bank? And how can we share our experiences of playing games to more people? So why do we watch other people play video games? We watch because games were expensive, because we were lonely, because failing at Elden Ring is funnier with 10,000 people in the chat laughing with you. We still crave connection, whether it's a 4K stream or a pixelated rant in a Discord call. We'll keep passing the controller to whoever had next. So let's play. Thank you for watching. Oh, almost forgot. Remember the question I gave you at the beginning of the video? Remember Ralph Baer? Looks like he got the last laugh in the end and did something we'll never forget.
Well, here we are, playing ping pong when we ought to be working. Here's our ball, volleying back and forth. One free ball, plus one net, courtesy of the local CATV station. Here's my partner, Bill, and I. We're going to play ping pong for you in a minute. But before we do, I'd like to show you the controls that we're using, which are part of the plug-in module, the ping pong plug-in module, gaming plug-in module of the all-purpose box we talked about earlier. There is a horizontal knob here, as you can see, which, when I twiddle it, moves my paddle from left to right. There's a vertical control, which moves my paddle up and down. Finally, there's an English knob, which allows me to put curves on the ball, control the vertical position of the ball as it leaves my paddle. Whenever I intercept the ball, if I don't miss it, and bat it back at my opponent, I have control over the ball's vertical position, and that's what the English knob is for. And watch me fake him out in a minute. There's another control here, a serve knob, which puts the ball into play, serves it from my side if it's out of play, on my position, if it should go out of play. In Bill's position, he's got the same kind of a button right here. He pushes it, and the ball comes in from that side. Ready? It's on your side. It's on my side? Okay, let's go. Let me move away from the net a bit. Here we go.
Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. This video took me so much time and effort. Trust me, I'm wearing my Halloween costume from October 2024. So yeah, I've been trying to get this video out for the longest time, but you know, life happens. So, but we eventually did get it. So you at least gotta give me that, right? Tell me if you like this new style of video, or if I should go to my classic video style. This is my first attempt of doing a long form video essay, so tell me how you feel about the video in the comment section below. But thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell while you're at it, and I'll see you in the next video.